You know, I had so much fun with the feminist philosopher Seedling last time, I thought I'd do another video with her. This one is called Sexism Basics, 'cause hey, why not? Well, maybe this is why not, but I haven't even seen it yet. Let's see how she's colored in this one.
Hey guys, so I thought I would do a video. I haven't done one in a little while, and I've had a few requests, actually several over the past however long I've had a YouTube, to do sort of like introductory videos or a video about feminism. I've tried a couple times. There's no way that I can fit all of the ideas that are within feminism into one video. So I was thinking, and I thought maybe it would make it easier if I broke it down a bit. So I thought I would make this video about sexism. I mostly want to talk about sexism, not only because it's like sort of one of the things that people would immediately relate to feminism.
Well, that's pretty perceptive of you. Whenever I hear feminism, I immediately think sexism.
But more because I'm in a gender and sexuality class, and if you follow my blog, then you probably have seen my posts about the people in that class. But
okay, first of all, back when I went to college, it was like an adobe hut with a grass roof. And I live in the United States, not Canada, so I don't know what the cost of college classes in Canada is. I've heard that here in the United States there's like, it's the next bubble, like college costs are just going up, and then student loans are basically like legalized usury. But I'm going to go ahead and say that you're wasting your money. I just don't know how much of your money you're wasting. As for a blog, I still don't know what the hell that is. Wait, no, I do. I went to the Free Thought blogs. It's basically just boring people typing out their boring thoughts. Okay, I'm sorry. I do know what a blog is. Anyway, you were saying about the class that was wasting your money, time, and probably brain cells?
I am appalled by some of the things that have been said. People have a very archaic understanding of what sexism is and oppression generally, and it's quite shocking. I think I thought that my fellow university students would be more aware of how the world works than they really seem to be. A lot of them, not all of them, obviously.
Oh yes, please educate us on how the world works and the nature of oppression. Just as a side note, if you ever went to sub-Saharan Africa and encountered a bushman, and he talked to you, well, you wouldn't understand a word he said because he'd be speaking like the clicky language. But he'd call you what, in his, if you translated, he would call you a heavy person. No, don't get offended. I'm not saying you're fat. I'm just saying that to a bushman you would appear to be bloated with water and fat. Just a side note. I mean, you're talking about the world. I just thought I would talk about the world, and let's go on.
So yeah, I just thought, like, why not start here? Because obviously this stuff isn't as basic as I thought it was, because there are people in my class who just flat out don't agree with it.
And as a feminist, you assume that people who don't agree with your viewpoint are simply undereducated or intellectually deficient in some manner. Okay, I'm following you.
Which is fine, but so this is going to be a feminist sort of understanding of sexism. So people think of sexism as prejudice based on gender or sex. But really, it has to do with more, instead of just prejudice, for it to be sexism, according to a feminist definition, it has to be prejudice plus power.
Well, I see, but don't call me a misogynist, but allow me to just show a little problem with that whole paradigm. There are a great many types of power, some more subtle than others, some quite rarefied, some quite in your face. So, I mean, it's very difficult to measure power in any way. I mean, electrical power is actually relatively easy to measure, but that's not the kind of power we're discussing, I believe. So, I mean, do you have a comprehensive power measurement chart that can compare the different types of power and their relative strengths and influence that you can't? So, well, then what you're saying essentially is meaningless. I'm sorry, but it is.
This is the same with any ism. So racism, you like, that's why reverse racism, or like being racist against a white person, doesn't make sense according to a feminist definition of racism, because there's no power there.
Totally untrue, and back to what I was saying about different kinds of power. Now, here I am going to make some generalizations, and because the YouTubes are full of contentious retards who don't understand generalizations, let me say in advance, you will be able to find hundreds or thousands of counterexamples, maybe even hundreds of thousands of counterexamples, making generalizations here. But human beings are racist. Doesn't matter what race they are racist. I mean, that's just how it is. Now, so black people, they're racist too. The thing is, nobody will call black people on their racism. I mean, white people won't, because, I mean, white people, they're, you know, that whole enslaving thing, I don't know. After that whole enslavement thing, we're going to give them a pass on their racism, you know. But here's something that I've noticed. And I'm talking, you know, most of my subscribers are in the U.S., so I'm just going to talk about white people and black people. If there's ever a group of black people talking, and say a white person or a couple white people come up and start talking, black people will almost always have conversational priority within the group. Like, the white people won't really be able to talk until all of the black people have said all of their things. This is clearly a form of racism, and white people don't even bother to mention it usually. But here's the thing. Should we allow black people to be racist? Well, it doesn't help them, that's for sure, and let me tell you why. I've discussed before about mediating mechanisms of social homeostasis. So, like, it's difficult for a person to spiral into the shitter because all of their friends and social interactions will stabilize their personality and prevent them from doing so. But likewise, a person who is trying to be upwardly mobile in the world will be held back by their friends and their social interactions for the same reason. It's just basically a regulation mechanism of social systems. Here's where we get a little bit of a problem. Because black people, like all people, are racist, they generally tend to regard their social interactions with black people as being inherently more important than interactions with white people. So, because black people currently occupy the lowest socioeconomic rung, by and large, if a black person does say, you know what, screw this low socioeconomic level, I am going to make something of myself, well then immediately all of his black friends in the low socioeconomic level will exert this homeostatic mechanism pulling him back. And because the white people aren't quite as important to him, it's all that less incentive to rise up out of this group of black people. And that's a problem, because, I mean, I don't want black people to occupy the lowest rung of the socioeconomic ladder, and people like fringe elements, they're like, oh, it's because the black people, they just ain't smart. But no, that's not it. It's because they started off low, and when black people try to climb out of that low status, the other ones pull them back, and that is racism, and it is holding them back. So just because they do have power, they have power over themselves and power over each other. So, yeah, maybe if we want to help them out, we should say, hey, be a little less racist, regardless of what we consider power. Now, I realize all this is controversial, and I'm not saying that there aren't white people contributing to keeping black people in a low socioeconomic status, but I am saying that it's not so simple as the man holding them down. There are a lot of factors, and, you know, social homeostasis is one of them. But I guess your little feminist agenda thing, that doesn't take into account these things. And by the way, I mean, this power, like men have power, there are more women than men, and I don't know. I wouldn't say men have all the power.
To oppress the white people, because white people have that power in society. So same in terms of gender roles.
Well, since I'm already on the controversial topic of race, I should also tell white people this. You're probably condescending to black people. I don't know if you realize it, but most of the black people realize it. They think you're condescending. You should probably work on that. You probably should stop talking down to black people because they can pick up on this and it annoys them. Just so you know.
Men, or people who identify as men, are they have the power in society, so that plus prejudice equals sexism. But that's not the same as saying that prejudice isn't bad, because I think a lot of people take that to mean like, oh, women can't be sexist against men. Oh, then it's fine that women are prejudiced against men. Like, I know a lot of women who, you know, think all men are bad and all this stuff. It's like, I'm not saying that that's okay. I think that that's wrong to generalize. I think it's wrong for a girl to say, like, all guys are sleazy or something like that, because that's not all guys.
And I just realized I'm tired. I've talked about a couple points. You know, you're a really good jumping off point, seedling. Not a whole lot of fun to listen to, but, you know, I like the way that you're always changing colors. You know, it keeps me interested. Hey, while I'm at it, I should mention one more thing. I saw a nice video on objectification, and I was thinking about my last video. I ended it because you were talking about objectification, and whenever I hear that shit, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. But I was thinking, it's like this. The whole concept of objectification makes no sense, okay? People have all sorts of traits that have relative levels of desirability and utility to others. You know, when people need to solve a complex math problem, they'll often seek me out. So imagine what would happen if I were to say, what, you think I am just some sort of magic fucking calculator, like you are entitled to my goddamn mathematical brilliance? I'm just like some sort of TI-80 fucking 3 over here? How would people react to that? Probably with concern. They would probably say, Snake, you appear to be having a catastrophic stroke to the region of your brain that allows you to make any fucking sense whatsoever. Perhaps we should see a doctor immediately. Anyway, have a nice night.